Welcome to the Emily Otto Show, business coaching for rebel healers, priestesses, and other witchy women. This podcast will give you the tools to help you build and scale your online healing business so you can help more people and make more money. My goal is for you to enjoy your life and business with plenty of time for pleasure and play. I am over the moon delighted you're here. Let's start today's episode.
I am so freaking excited to announce a totally free, brand spanking new, hot off the presses masterclass happening just for you, dear rich witch, amazing wild woman healer, priestess, beautiful woman listening or watching on YouTube this incredible podcast. And it's called The Rich Witch's Guide to the Galaxy. I am so excited to put this out there into the world. I want you to walk away with the guidebook to creating your richest, most abundant life as a healer in business on this planet in these times that we're in the dominant culture of North America, in the patriarchy during late stage capitalism in 2023, you need a guide. You need a guidebook. And I'm literally going to craft the guidebook, hand it over to you, and then give you this incredible illuminating download in a 1-hour free masterclass on Tuesday, March 21st, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, there will be a recording available, but get your cute butt registered for the live program so that you can have it at your fingertips and anytime you want it. So, what are the pieces of the guide? I'm going to walk you through 3 key guideposts, 3 key stages and steps of the journey, demystify them, break them down so that you can apply them to your life, your business, your wild woman work in the world, make consistent cash, help your beautiful clients consistently, and enjoy the shit out of your wild and precious life. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is sensual strategy, the structure of your business, the programs, your offerings, how and why, what order to put them in, and how to create them so that your people can see you, hire you, and feel ridiculously supported by you. The second guidepost and structure we'll be talking about is illuminating intimacy. Intimacy, sacred intimacy, is devotional attention to details. And this is the key to a delicious and satisfying life, the key to crafting work in the world that super supports your people and juices you up, all at the same time. I will talk you through the rituals, the ceremony, the daily practices to invite into your life to create and craft this illuminating intimacy. And then the third pillar, the third guidepost, I am going to share with you my unique philosophy and brand and way that I do my work in the world around sacred sales. I know you're a healer. When I say the word sales, you get all itchy. You kind of want to vomit. It feels gross. It feels sleazy. Why do we even have to sell our work in the world anyhow? I hear you. And you are legitimized in the tantrum. Let it out. And then I'm going to show you how to make sales sacred, how to create a divine offering, how to invite your people in, and how to allow and enable them to invest with you as you're investing your energy with them. Join me live for the Rich Witch's Guide to the Galaxy, happening at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, March 21st. You do not want to miss this. I'm going to only send this beautiful guide straight to your glorious inbox when you register. And I want you there live. Juice it up. Join me live. Ask questions. Get wildly supported. I will see you there. And then. Good morning. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Emily Otto Show. Oh my goodness, there is so much happening. It is very early spring here where I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I just saw the first crocuses yesterday. These beautiful little purple and yellow flowers, snowdrops, which are like the first of the winter early spring ephemeral flowers here. They're white and they're beautiful. They have been going for at least a week, maybe two. So the signs of the seasons turning are all around me. I'm looking out my window at the garden to see if the snowdrops are still there. I don't think they are, but I am very excited with this season change, and the full moon moving into Virgo is such exciting, grounded, and structural energy for beautiful business things to be taking place. So I wanted to announce, super freaking excited about doing this. It is the Rich Witches Group VIP Day, and it's going to be happening right here live in Detroit, Michigan on Saturday, May 13th. I am inviting 5 incredible, wild, and witchy healer women in business to join me for a live group VIP day experience so that you can set the structural foundation for your business. We're going to take a look at your program suite, your marketing strategy, and I'm going to help you create and invoke divine rituals to increase your consistent cash, your abundance, and your wild woman activation through a cacao ceremony and ecstatic dance party at this gorgeous loft in Detroit, overlooking Eastern Market. You can literally fly direct to Detroit from pretty much anywhere in the US, and oh my goodness, please join me if you live internationally. And then the venue is literally 20 minutes away, and there are so many hotels around this loft that you can choose to stay at, and it'll literally be 2 to 5 minutes away. You'll be joining me and 4 other incredible women on that day in that loft. We're going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There'll be coffee, tea, get to know you sessions, hanging out, chill time. As I mentioned, the cacao ecstatic dance ceremony. And I'm going to lead you through step by step and help you figure out what are your next big moves in your business. What are you inviting in this year? We will plan all the way through the rest of your year, or just for the rest of the season, whatever works best for you. Tweak your content marketing strategy and help you feel excited, energized, and juiced up about the work you're doing in the world, who you're working with, who you're speaking to, who you're calling in. I have already sold 2 spots for this VIP day. I'm only offering 3 more. You have just over 2 months to get your ish together, plan, come and meet me in Detroit on Saturday, May 13th. You do not want to miss this. I have been waiting to offer group experiences for women to amplify the ish out of your business. And it's here. It's happening. So join me for the Rich Witches Group VIP Day happening on Saturday, May 13th. You can get all the details on my website, which is at www.emily-otto.com/rich-witches-group-vip-day. Or just click the link in the show notes. Send me a message on any social media platform, send me an email, or just choose your payment plan on the website. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm offering this for a wicked, ridiculously low price of just $1,000 for the experience. We start at 10 a.m. We'll break for lunch. We'll walk down to Eastern Market. We will end at 4 p.m.-ish, and then that's the day. That is the experience. And it's just $1,000 or 2 equal monthly payments of $500. You can choose your option right online. I think that's everything. I'm so freaking stoked to do this. This is my life's work in a capsule. I couldn't create a VIP day if it wasn't for all of the experience I've had helping over 350 women build and shape and craft their business in the last 3 years in my business, and then the 15 to 20 years prior I had of working within other people's businesses and seeing what works, what doesn't, what feels good, what doesn't. So I made this day just for you. And if for some reason May 13th doesn't work for you, reach out to me. I have 2 VIP days a month that are set aside just for you. So I can fly to you, you can fly to me, we can do them virtually, and I have 2 available for March, 2 for April, 2 for May. Send me a message. And I hope you join me for the Rich Witches VIP Day experience on May 13th.
Yay! Hello and welcome to another episode of the Emily Otto Show. I am really excited today because I am here with a very intentional, badass entrepreneur and mom entrepreneur and queer entrepreneur, Kaycee. Would you mind introducing yourself and telling people all about how incredible you are?
Yes. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm Kaycee Joy, the Queer Priestess. I'm a queer woman, a wife, a mother, a spiritual entrepreneur, psycho-spiritual practitioner, all the things. What was the second question?
I know, right? Who are you? What do you do? Where in the world are you? Tell me about how cool your kids are.
Yes. So I am also in Michigan. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the work that I do in the world is I work with beautiful humans, queer people, their allies, in person in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as well as virtually online. My kids are 17 and a half. Oh, my oldest is graduating high school this year. And so we're like turning this cusp in our relationship. And it's the sweetest and also like so bittersweet. And my middle human is 15 and our youngest is 11. And motherhood has been a journey. I got pregnant when I was 17 years old. And so my daughter is the age that I was when I was pregnant with her. And right about this time, in like a couple weeks time, 18 years ago, I found out I was pregnant. And
I just got chills.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And the thing that I've learned is that, just recently, Emily, the thing that I learned was that I've raised the kids from a trauma response. And of course I did, because I was so young. And it's really exciting to like be turning this page to where I am finally raising them to be beautiful humans outside of my trauma responses. So I help people heal deep trauma. And I do that with energy work, somatic, breath work, lots of tools, lots of modalities, Reiki, holistic counseling, rapid resolution therapy, quantum healing hypnosis. So working with past lives, future lives, time hopping. And it's really beautiful, sacred work of being able to hold the space to watch somebody come alive and remember who they are and remember all of their like special gifts in the world. And, I think the most rewarding part of my work is when somebody can feel love for this first time. I have a real gift of being able to like just bring forth my divine feminine energy and my mother, like my divine mother, who I am as a mother, and how I can show up in that energy. And time again, I have clients sit across from me being like tears streaming down their face of, I've never felt love until this moment. And it's changing their life. And within that, they then can feel safety. They feel safety in their bodies. They feel safety to go out into the world and to trust a little bit more and to trust that they can heal. There's the belief that we can only heal to the level in which we feel safe. And we usually only feel safe in a dose of love. And so when I can show up and allow somebody to feel that energy of love and being held in that they know internally, not only are they worthy of love, but they also then learn how to have self-love and self-compassion for themselves. And it's just really beautiful and really powerful to witness.
It's so awesome. I think so often as mothers in business and moms doing energy work and healing work, the general 9-to-5 capitalism collective can say, well, those motherhood skills are separate and not as good, or there's like a intentional shaming
around simply showing up. And I hate this phrase. I'm sure you do as you might as well. Let's find out of like holding space, but it's creating that like nurturing, fertile ground for people to feel better. And that is a divine motherhood offering. And that is a powerful, important, good thing. And yet it's been intentionally chipped away at or seen as like not good enough because it's not this quantifiable metrics based thing, but it's this heart expansion holding energy.
Yeah. As you were just talking, what I could see was like it's a womb, it's an incubator, it's like a bubble, right? Like when I think of holding sacred space, it's just like in the energetic field in which myself and the client are in is just like this bubble of protection. And nothing outside of that bubble exists or matters. And so when in this space, like time does stand still, but also if the energy is of protection and of the divine mother, like the divine mother, a lot of us, didn't have like a great time in the womb or, the clients that I'm working with certainly didn't have a great time growing up in the household, right? Their container in which they lived in, or the container in which they went to school in, or went to work in, or wherever this container was. But like, then I think of the space that I hold them in, that they're holding themselves in, that we're co-creating together is like this really beautiful, powerful incubator or womb.
I get this image as you're speaking of, it's been in lots of different books and like science fiction and fantasy novels, but this like healing fountain, like walking in, it almost seems like baptism, like, of walking into this healing water and just like holding someone as they're able to access the healing within.
Yes. I love that.
I think, I remember I was so grateful to have you in the Rebel Mastermind. And I remember us talking about like healing the root cause and pain energy. And I'm just killing sounds. Here we go. And you talking about how important it was to really heal from the ground up or really like nurture everything. I'd love to hear more about your perspective there because I think that it's also created this incredible, rebellious healer mom entrepreneur space of I'm going to do stuff in person and online, and I'm going to do this my way. And now I'm launching a podcast, and here we go.
Yeah. So the thing that comes to mind is my oldest. My oldest right now is struggling with, some anxiety, some depression. And, as I said at the beginning, I realized recently that I've raised these kids from a trauma response. And, Savannah's like, but mom, my life is good. And I had to take her back to the beginning and just explain, yeah, your life is good, babe. Like you have a roof over your head, all your needs are met. Like you have even above and beyond your basic needs now. But it wasn't always that way. And just like explaining how trauma impacted her body and how it impacted her brain and her neural pathways and the way that in which she holds tension in her body. And so I'm in the stage of reparenting my 17-and-a-half-year-old. And as I'm holding her and I'm like nourishing her back to an optimal state, I'm literally like remembering holding her in my womb. And I'm remembering her, like holding her as an infant. And I'm quite literally holding her in my lap, in my arms, as though she is an infant, rocking her, going back to the very beginning, the very root of why she now, 17 and a half years later, is dealing with the anxiety and the depression, because along the way, a lot of trauma, a lot of adversities have happened in her, in her space, but also to her personally. She has like witnessed external trauma and she has endured internal trauma. And so I use this example, A, because it's personal, and because I think it just really explains and expresses the magnitude and the importance of being able to go to the root, right? Like I could talk to her about anxiety, and I could talk to her about her ring of air ADD and her depression all day long, but like it doesn't help her understand where it came from. And so understanding where it came from, we get to like re-heal and create new neural pathways in the brain and create new memories that are stored into the body and release some of the stored energies that are in the body due from the things that she saw and witnessed and endured to herself.
I love the image of you holding your 17-and-a-half-year-old in your arms. I have a 1.5-year-old, and I was holding him snuggling in bed this morning with his head on my chest and realizing, oh my gosh, his feet almost touch my knees and he's so big already. And I hope for that experience, right? Like you remember seeing the little breastfed baby on my lap. And it's like, people tell you this as a young mother and they're like, oh, it goes by quickly. And in the moment you're like, this is not going by quickly. Everything is horrible and wonderful all at once. And then I feel like I pick my head up and it's like, oh my God, he's almost 2. And I hope with every fiber of my being that I get to hold him when he's 17.5 like that. Yeah. We just created a game at home. It's the simplest thing ever, but we've been trying to think of body-based and just like imaginative games to play with the kids. And so it's just big hug, arms open wide, and he'll run over and he'll give me a big hug. And it's my favorite thing in the world.
So sweet.
I think it's so courageous to do the work that you're doing. Because it can be something that is talked about with a lot of shame and a lot of blame. Right. And I hear you talking about it I knew what I knew. We did what we did, and look at this gorgeous opportunity to do it differently right here, right now. And I don't hear a shred of blame or shame in your healing process with your kiddo and with your clients. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm really good at when it comes to holding, working with clients is I have a really beautiful way of being able to like work with shame. Shame is like one of my favorite emotions to work with because I literally just show up like judgment free, no shame. It's like, yeah, shit happens. We like make mistakes and we learn from them. And when somebody is brave enough and courageous enough to come work with me, no way am I going to shame them for things. People tell me secrets that they thought that they were going to like carry to the grave with them. And the shame is just alchemized and healed and gone. And the way that they then like even their body, the ways in which their body shifts. I mean, I've been on a healing journey like with my body for the last 2.5 years doing just somatic and breath work. And I've lost 70 pounds doing nothing else, not going to the gym, not working out. And so it's just like when we work with some of these heavy emotions, such as shame, like our body even just gets to shift. And so, yeah, I really love to work with shame because shame breeds in secrecy. And so when people share their secrets with me and they are like, oh, I was met with love and acceptance and curiosity, like the world changes and the world heals in such big ways.
It's so fun and I think annoying for a lot of deep healers to need to write content or focus on like the results from the work. And I can hear in your work the ripple effects of if you were met with love and curiosity, with like this deep, dark, shameful secret, how it changes everything. But describing that in a content post or a reel or even on a podcast, right? It's like kind of hard to touch.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find that you've been able to do that? And I think you have, in order to let people see you and come on in and work with you.
I think the biggest way in which I do that is just sharing my own stories. Like, I mean, I used to live on shame on like a daily basis. And back in September, it was like for the first time in my life, I couldn't access the sensation of shame.
I remember that. You're like, no, just don't have any.
It's just like
not there. I remember other women being like, what's that? What's that like? Like, tell me more.
Yeah. And so like I just share my messy story, it's like I could live in shame, like be ashamed that I have all of this trauma and I made all of these decisions and I became a young mom. I was like pregnant at 17. I have 3 baby daddies. I'm a queer woman. I've been married and divorced to an abusive man. And it's just like, I got nothing to hide because I've learned that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who A, deals with shame, but B, has like made big mistakes in my life. And I don't even see them as mistakes anymore. It's like I'm not hurting people by the decisions I've made. And no, I wouldn't choose that for myself again moving forward. I wouldn't hope that for my children, and I wouldn't hope my journey for other people. But I know the thing that I needed while going through it was knowing A, I wasn't alone, and B, that like there was hope and possibility on the other side of the life that I was living. And so it's like all the drugs, all the alcohol, all the sex, all the people I slept with, it was just like, I might as well share. And like, even based on like my human design and the way that I'm supposed to show up in the world, sharing my story is one of the ways in which I can invite people in to work with me and trust me in my business. Mm-hmm. And it's also why people can sit down across from me and tell me their deepest, darkest secrets and be met with love and feel that intentionally.
It sounds so simple when you say it the way that you do. And I can like feel your heart shining of, yeah, this is just what I do. This is what it is. But the depth and leadership that I hear you speaking is phenomenal and really great. And I'm so grateful to know you and to get to watch you do your thing in the world. I was thinking as you were speaking about the way you do your work and what you do, and even your journey claiming the queer priestess. How do you trust yourself? And how did you decide? And it feels like a decision again and again of, yep, this is what I do. This is who it's for. Here we go.
Yeah, I was actually just falling asleep talking to my wife about this last night. They had come to the embodiment class that I was assisting at. And as we were falling asleep, they were like, you did such a good job tonight. And they're like, you're such a natural. And it's just so good to see you step into this role and just know that this is the work you're meant to be doing in the world. And so my first year going through the Vitalist School, I knew on day 1, I'm like, oh, there's something to this work. Like I'm meant to be doing it. And so like the second or third weekend, I went to one of the teachers, the co-founders of the school. And I was like, Leah, how do I know if this is my intuition or my ego? Like, because I don't want to like show up and do this work from an egotistical, cocky way. Like I want to be aligned in my intuition as a clear channel, knowing with all of my brilliance, with all of my confidence that this is the work I'm meant to be doing in the world. And so it was just like a paying attention of like, am I showing up in a cocky way or am I showing up in confidence? And I think women in the society, or, even females at birth, were raised to think that like our confidence is bitchy, or, like we can't trust our intuition, we can't trust our power because we're seen as showing off, or um, being the center of attention, or being too much. And so it was just like really having to learn that, like, yeah, I'm too much sometimes. Sometimes I shine really fucking brightly.
And that's
And
great, right?
yeah, and that's great.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a constant remembering of, I've learned all the tools. I've continued to say yes to my soul. And every day that I sit across from a client, or I sit across from a complete stranger for that matter, is like, how can, like, I know that I'm meant to like impact the world. And I know that I'm meant to help the world be lighter and brighter. And so, what are the things that I can do to make that possible? And it's just like a continuation of sitting across from somebody and having the conversation and deeply remembering that I know how to do this work and I'm meant to do this work.
I love that. That's so awesome. How can people work with you, both in person and online?
Yeah. So people can work with me in person in my office in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I currently work with clients one-on-one in 90-minute sessions, and I should be having some classes coming out this spring, summer, to have like group classes, working with them bioenergetics, embodiment practices, and breath work, and past life regression, and cacao ceremonies. That feels really good. I know. And then virtually, one-on-one, we would meet on Zoom for an hour together, and you'd be really supported for an entire year. And I have a meditation bundle. It's called the Magic Meditation Bundle, minimizing anxiety, giving into calmness. And I have a evergreen coming home course. So just learning some of the tools and principles around coming home to yourself and coming home to your body.
I love it. And what's your website?
KayceeJoyHealing.com. And people can connect with me on Instagram, Kaycee Joy, or Kaycee Joy Healing. I show up both ways.
Awesome. And that'll all be in the show notes as well. So if you're listening to this, or if you're catching it on YouTube, go grab the show notes and connect with Kaycee. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for today. Share this episode with other Rebel healers so they too can make more money and deeply support their people. Join my free Facebook group at Business Coaching for Rebel Healers with Emily Otto, and stay tuned for next week's episode. XOXO.